I'm feeling lefty. I'm distinctly fine.
And to my other side of me, you might have seen this bloke before. It's the original. It's the original Adam P. How are you?
Very good, mate. Good to be back in the presence of you legends. Been a while.
You're the legend. You were the first Adam P. Then someone came along and stole your name, I think. Yeah. So I'll just turn the background. You might have heard me in the background there. I'll turn
just
that
a bit,
off.
mate.
Yeah, turn the background. YouTube off. We are live on YouTube and Twitch. Disagree, agree. We'll soon find out. We've got about 34 players to rattle through. So we have quite a few. Drop us a big, massive like if you're watching live. If you're watching the rerun, we want to know what you are saying in the comments. Please do let us know. So please do. Who wants the easy one first?
Well, we don't have to dwell too long. I think we can all collectively agree on the vast majority of our squad. We don't need to dwell on, because I'm assuming the first one's going to be Nicholas Pope.
It is. I think we're all unanimous, unless Adam's going to say, let's get rid of him.
No. Been arguably one of the players of the season, hasn't he, really? So he's...
Tell me about your season. Has he massively improved our goalkeeping?
He's massively improved, not just the goalkeeping, but I think the confidence the back four have. The Dubravka was always a bit hit and miss. Just a big talking point for the season was the disappointing red card, at home to Liverpool, which arguably, that could have cost us that final because we were strapped for choice in goal. But he's been solid. That save against Leicester for me sums him up. That last grasp save, he had nothing to do all game and then just pops up with a save like that. So, yeah, quality.
What a great buy. 10 million, man. 10 million for... I know he's just turned 31, but you can have Nick Pope another 6-7 years. Absolutely unreal. And the saves, I remember Brighton away, that just spatula arm as well. The save at Crystal Palace, I think it was...
Pickford's little arms.
Just for the record, everybody.
Spatula arms.
For everybody that are watching, Adam's got a little one in the background. I've got the dog somewhere. You might hear him later, but I think the only one who's going to be quiet is you, Sam.
I'm the only one that can organise a household.
Yeah, welcome to real life. And yeah, what I think it's unanimous. It's a great buy, Nick Pope, and I think everybody is going to agree. Let's keep it. It's been an absolute outstanding buy, and there was some debate amongst us. I wasn't one of them. That he wasn't going to be first choice. I was adamant. You're not buying £10 million for a goalkeeper to sit on the bench in England at national. So Nick Pope as well is definitely staying with us. Sam, I'll come to you for his backup, Martin Dubravka.
I would keep him. I've got to be honest. I like him as the number 2. I know he would have angered a few going to Man United on loan or whatever, but that's by the by. He's done it.
I was pissed off. I'm not gonna lie. When I seen him,
and
come on the lads.
I think he regrets it. Look, it's
only. Well, actually, he's not the only winner. We've got 2 winners in our squad this year.
Yes, well done, Harrison Ashby, and Conference League winner. I mean, look, I'd like him as a number 2, can come in and do a job as and when. We know Pope's number 1 now. I didn't think there'd be much between them when Pope first signed, but I would keep Dubravka as a number 2. You need a good, although we have way too many goalkeepers, you still need a good strong core of 3. So I would keep Dubravka, because I wouldn't want to be, if we're getting rid of a load of goalkeepers, you'd then have to bring a couple more in. I just think that's a waste of time. So I will keep Dubravka.
It's a tough one for me. I would probably get rid, as long as Darlow's happy to be second choice. These are all ifs and buts, I think. But I think Darlow looks like he's going to head out, and I think he needs first team. But we'll come to Darlow in a minute. But Adam, your thoughts on Dubravka? Do you think he's happy just to stick around?
I think the only reason he's stick around is because we're probably going to them, but we're likely to get rid of Karius and Darlow, and Gillespie's obviously not. He wasn't even registered, so I'm not a fan of Dubravka. I haven't been for quite a while. I think he's always got a mistake in him. He's not great at playing out from the back. Nor is Pope mine, but no. I
think Dubravka's stronger at playing out of the back than Pope.
I agree with his feet. That's it.
I don't think he's great at catching the ball either. So I've never been a huge Dubravka fan. I thought there was a lot of hype over a pretty average keeper, despite him. He was probably the best of a bad bunch in a couple of bad seasons. But no, I'd probably get rid. I think that the Man U thing. As soon as he got a big competition, he was coming out saying, "I'm going to fight for my place," and then went and sat on the bench at Man U, which again conflicted us for the cup final. So yeah, I'd get rid.
It's Sam's decision, so we're out voting him. But
I'm happy to be a democracy, but I would keep him.
Okay, so we're not in North Korea anymore. We are back in Stafford Hour. So your decision, Mr. Muller. Now you have the ultimate say.
I keep him as second choice.
So Martin Dubravka is let's keep him, says Sam. Me and Mr. Phillips disagree on that. So we'll probably disagree on the next one then, because we're probably going to maybe say the opposite. So I'll start with Carl Darlow. On that fact, I would keep Darlow as long as he's happy just to be number 2 and you're not going to upset the apple card. But he has had a good spell out on Hull. They've made no secret about it. Rossini said he wants to sign him. Can afford his wages? Don't know. But I feel for Darlow because he was sensational. He should have went to, I think it was the World Cup or the Euros. I can't remember which one it was. It should have been third choice. And Sam Johnson went ahead of him. I'm not having that. Darlow was in his form of his life.
He's in the squad now.
I know it's mental because of an injury to ironically Pope, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I understand. I feel for him because he's 31, 32. And he deserves first team football. He's never had it. Even at Forest, he was only just starting to come through the ranks. There, but I was about to ask Adam's opinion there, but the duty calls. But he's a long-term servant, Sam, and you got to think he was here. He was signed when McLaren.
No, Pardew.
I was Pardew because they loaned them back out. You're right.
Yeah,
that's how far back. That's how far back Darlow goes.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Darlow. I've defended him on many occasions. Remember standing outside of the Hawthorns on an FA Cup evening, just pre-COVID, and defending Darlow. I always like him. However, I would sell him because for similar aspect, but he would be my third choice. So out of respect for him, I don't think it would be fair to keep him and just not do anything with him. So for that, I would sell.
I think Adam would have probably agreed with you there because he was already saying get rid of 2 goalkeepers. Oh, he's back there. He is.
Sorry, kids.
That's all right. Carl Darlow, would you get rid of him?
Yeah, he's a championship goalkeeper. Been a good servant, to be fair to the club.
Is he better than Dubravka?
I always thought he was on par. I just thought every time Darlow made a mistake, the fans were down his throat. Every time Dubravka made a mistake, the fans would stick up for him. I thought that's why he was quite unlucky. But no, he's a championship goalkeeper, I think. But he's never let us down, being a good servant. But yeah, I think he should be going to play first team football at the stage of the career he's at.
I do agree on that. But it's my decision, so I'm going to keep Carl Darlow. He's my number 2 going into next season. He can play the League Cup games. He can play the FA Cup games. And the rest is Nick Pope's, so long as he stays fit. And if I have an injury, I'm comfortable with Darlow for a few games. But next one's, I think it's a pretty unanimous. Adam, I'll come across to you for the German who was chucked in goal for the cup final, Mr. Karius, the stud. His girlfriend's a bit of tasty, but Karius, yeah, he didn't carry us over the line though, did he?
Well, to be honest, I was at Wembley and I still haven't watched the game back. It hurt that much, so I'm still in my head that he was at fault for the second goal. That's still because I've never seen it back.
I agree.
I remember going down like the pin.
I agree. We had this. Sorry, Adam. We had this debate outside Wembley, and I said he's got to do better.
Honestly, I've never watched any of it back because it hurt that much. But I remember being in that side of the ground, and he went down like the Tin Man. I went, oh my! And that was the game dead and gone. But you look at his overall contribution; he was there to train with the keepers, really. So. I haven't really seen much of him. He wasn't terrible at Wembley. He was cracking save at the end, but I don't. Unless he's just to keep the numbers up, we might as well just sell him, get rid of him. I'm assuming he's out of contract, to be honest, is he?
Yeah. It'll be a release. But no, there was a deflection for the second goal, Adam.
No,
off
it's soft deflection. I'm with Adam on this. He has to save that for me.
A soft deflection. You've got a split second. It's all right seeing every angle in slow-mo, but either way, I would release him anyway.
Nick Pope saves that for me. I don't think we're lost.
We'll never know.
I don't think we're lost because Nick Pope wasn't available. I think we still would have went down, but we just didn't turn up. Yeah, we didn't turn up, and then 2 weeks later we do against the same opposition. But the think that's pretty obvious. You can see on your screen there, Mr. Karius is let's get rid. Mark Gillespie. Sam, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
I could play devil's advocate and make a case for him.
What, for the Premier League homegrown, or
that?
Or if you get rid of the other two?
He could be our Scott Carson. He could. He seems great to have around the place. He's never left out of a matchday squad in that he's always there helping the goalkeepers warm up and whatnot. Not many would do that. So you could make a case for him to stick around as third choice goalkeeper. You could.
I think all these goalkeepers are all ifs, except from Nick Pope. If this, if that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably release him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets given another year just for the old homegrown Scott Carson thing.
I think you touched a good point, Sam, to be fair, because Eddie Howe likes the atmosphere he's got in the dressing room. And players like Richie, who aren't necessarily playing much, Gillespie, they're probably contributing quite well to that.
Yeah.
So, that's what he's got as an advantage, but he's a terrible goalkeeper.
Yeah, you see, I think his last game was at Newport away, and he was just that goal that he conceded was just.
He made up for it.
Yeah, and the penalty shootout he didn't he? He saved one, didn't he? Was it two?
And the couple of games he played before that.
He did all right in Saudi. He played half a game there. He did all right there.
Karius did as well.
Yeah, they did, yeah. But having said that, we won 5-0 and the keepers are doing well. There again. But yeah, I think that's pretty much. You're saying because it's your call, yeah, Sam?
Yeah, I'll release him.
Release me. So Mark Gillespie, let's get rid for the goalkeepers, and that is our goalkeepers sorted. Shall we start off right backs?
Do you know what? To go back to goalkeepers, I'd get rid of 3 or 4 of them, and I would re-sign Tim Krul.
Just to tick the youth, yeah.
Yes.
You're club trained.
Yes.
You could have Forst as well as another one that'll qualify.
That as well.
Just have them as second and third choice.
Yeah, spirit of 2007-8 youth team. Come on, let's have it.
That's what I used to do on Football Manager. I appoint Les Ferdinand as director of football, then I'll get Lee Clark as coach. I'll bring all the old guard back, and we're all for like 1 star, 2 stars. Yeah, nostalgia. Kieran Trippier, that's an easy one. Adam, I'd like you to talk about the class that he is. He's in everybody's team this season.
He's been phenomenal. Arguably right back of the season in the league. I always come back and being the most important sign of the era. He was the one who started it. And just his performances on the pitch. He's had a couple of iffy games, but it's the way he leads himself and leads the team. Probably the best captain I've seen since Shearer in terms of motivating lads on the pitch. It's one of the best signings we've made in a long, long time when it comes to fullback quality. The set piece is still frustrated. I won't lie. That's probably one thing that's it's maybe so much not people getting on at the end of them rather than the quality of them. But, hopefully that's something we can work on next season.
You'll say this quite a lot because you're not far away at it now. That you mentioned the positivity and the pointing and the leadership. You come in, you pull there, you go there, praise and pat on the back. Come on, you see it constantly. As the cameras will not pick that up. We'll say that in that corner, especially the kicking towards the leaders. So you do see it a lot. And I would imagine that's how he goes in the dressing room as well. And I love the fact when he done Jake's podcast that he said he came on less money and he had no clauses, no relegation clauses.
Yeah.
Nothing. That tells you of something of the man that he was prepared to put in the graft and he's prepared to be relegated and risk it.
Yeah, huge gamble for him and Bruno, wasn't it? You can't credit him enough. He's just been phenomenal. And it is a good point, actually, that Adam made about his captaincy. There's a big argument to go along with that. Best captain since Shearer, because what was it, Parker? Only did it for a year.
Parker was a good captain. I liked him.
Yeah, he was all right. And then other notable ones. Nolan was okay. Colaccini, not for me.
I thought you would drop our friend Jeremy there.
Nicky Butt was club captain for a while, wasn't he? For a long while.
Yeah.
Not
going
for
way
me.
back. Yeah, Rob Lee and Shearer are probably the best too for a long while.
Yeah, and then Lascelles, who I will defend. I liked him as captain, stood up for us in an important moment of time. But yeah, Trippier is on another level, and did start it all. And it was just then first few weeks after he signed, we were just like, what is he doing here? He is just too good for us. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, it's an underarm, this one, isn't it? It's a keep.
Yeah, and also he's got Champions League experience as well. Coming from the mighty win, which is ironic. Nostalgia is a thing of the past. Well, mighty win, you would know. Goal scoring legend. And yeah, so that's Kieran Trippier. We'll start with Javier Manquillo, Mr. Mulliner. We always used to have this debate.
Yeah.
Mulliner.
Remember them?
I know the still hands on occasionally.
The dark days, craft a man.
Yeah, I like to think
it's now Adam. Who's the best, second best?
Yeah, who's not the least shit? Yeah, it's time for Manquillo to go, I think, isn't it? I would sell him. I think has he got a year left after this one? So you either sell, run down his contract. Just get rid. I don't think we really need him anymore. You can, if you need Kraft's obviously coming back from injury, so he'll be second choice now, won't he? Having signed that new deal last summer, and then Ashby as a bit of a third choice as well on the way up. Bright young talent. Yes, he has the versatility to play left back, but we've got about 5 left backs anyway, which we'll come to shortly. So for me, it's a sell for Manquillo.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. He's just been a bit part player, coming on for 5 minutes. I mean, when you're Kieran Trippier as a head of you, you're not getting any game time unless it's a cup game. So, yeah, even if all were right back stayed, I think actually you are right. I think Krath and I think Harrison Ashby will probably get, like, if we played against a League 2 team or whatever in the FA Cup, I think Ashby would start them. But yeah, Javier Manquillo is a get rid. That was going to be the next one, which was Emil Krath. Since Adam's not there, I'll cover him as well. Do you know what it is? I would actually keep him, despite him being injured effectively since the Tranmere game, which was the back end of August, I think it was.
It's a shame because he was in the form of his life, wasn't he? When Trippier was injured in the back end of the season before the one that's just gone, he was absolutely in phenomenal form. So it's a shame about his injury. But yeah, let's not have too short memories about it. He's probably worth keeping just as a backup for Trippier.
And also, strangely enough, not that we give Steve Bruce much credit, but he played him at centre back and he looked all right. Considering at the time the quality of our back line was awful, Krath was all right at centre back. So if you did have a crisis at centre back, I think, yeah, you can use him as number 2. You can use him as a 5th choice centre back if needs be. I think he'll be a squad filler. He'll tick a box. I don't think you'll see him much, to be honest, if Trippier stays fit.
No, it'll be a cup game outing,
games,
won't it?
or if we've already qualified for the knockout phases of the Champions League, last game, whatever, a couple of games. Yeah, brilliant. Emil Krath. Adam's got probably the most difficult one, I reckon, so far, is what do you do with Harrison Ashby? You loan him?
Have we seen him kick a ball yet? We haven't, have we? Maybe under 23s he's played?
Under 23s he scored, hasn't he?
Scored and assisted, but then he was on the bench at Chelsea, but he was injured as well.
I'm not going to lie, I don't know much about him. I know we signed him from West Ham for not a lot of money.
Europa Conference League winner, Harrison Ashby.
Yeah, he's got a medal, believe it or not.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, if he's staying fit, I don't know much about him, to be honest, lads. I know we signed him. Was it the last transfer window in January? But I've never seen him play. I don't follow the under 23s like you lads do. So honestly, I couldn't really comment on his ability, to be honest. But I trust Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe brought him in. If he's there to learn off another right back, he's got no better right back to learn off than Trippier. It's pointless to loan him to a championship club. He'll probably develop more learning off the likes of Trippier and Botman and Shaw, the way they're playing than that. So if he's going to be played as a backup, we're going to have a lot of games next season, then he's probably worth a shot of keeping.
I was expecting to say loan, but yeah, let's keep him. But I don't think if he doesn't play as much, he doesn't get 10 games, or he doesn't feature hardly, I think he could be loaned out in January. Yeah. That'll be the next step for Mr. Ashby. So that's your right back sorted. We'll move into the 2 centre backs. We'll start with the main 2, of course. Mr. Sven Botman, I'll start with him. It's an obvious keep.
Sorry, lads.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant buy. 35 million. I'm just going to be like up and down, isn't he? Going to miss out the conversation.
He's on a health. He must be on a health kick as well, because you notice he's drinking flavoured water. When was the last time he was ever on a stream where he wasn't quaffing like bottles of lager?
I know, he's just neck them. We used to have a few as well. Remember back
that was during lockdown, though.
Chaz, and then Carl Hall would jump on one, and Steve would just have shot through his eyes and all sorts. So mad what lockdown would do to you. Absolutely crackers. But yeah, Sven Botman, 35 million. It was either him or Diego Carlos. Botman came in, and he's now going to be a Dutch international. He's just about, or if he hasn't, just about to get his first cap.
Yeah, they got the Nations League, haven't they?
Yeah. And I like about Eddie Howe, he doesn't just chuck them all in. They've got to slowly come in. And when he started to come in, the only negative I have, and it's a slight negative, he's got no pace. But I think because
he reads the game so well, though.
Yeah, he covers up with that. He just reads it so well. And
I wouldn't say he was slow though. He takes his acceleration.
I think he'd be quick on chair over a sprint, mind. I think he'd chair, but they're not. Both of them aren't blessed with pace. But his position sense, you're all right. Had a tiny dip of form. That was it, of about 3 games all season. That's all he had. Incredible. He's part of defence, of the best joint defence in the whole league, and he was a big part. He played like 95% of the games. So you've got to keep him. You have to keep him. Going across to his partner in crime, what a season Fabian Schär's had.
Yeah, it's an easy keep again. We don't have to dwell. He might have been out the door when we did this 2 years ago or whatever. Come back better than ever. Just class act. So yeah, easy keep.
And he's different to I can't even spell Fabian Schär. He's that good. I've put an S on the end of him. But he's just obviously under Bruce and Rafa, you associate with him just bombing forward. He does that still, but nowhere near the amount. And I think he's actually a better defender at defending than what he was even under Rafa. Bruce is just Bruce Ball, but generally think he's actually a better defender at defending now. You don't worry. Yes, he had the own goal, and yes, he was out of position for Harry Kane's goal.
Yeah, but that's always going to happen.
But it's nitpicking, and I think that's the thing with the two, with Schär and Botman. I've just nitpicking. It's something really, really small, and they've done nothing wrong. And I think Carl went on to say that Carl said that he's the best defender in the league. So that's the statement Carl put out, but real. Makes no sense to sell him now. 32. Let him wind down his contract. I'm sure as he gets older, he'll happy to be a squad player, or thought. But brilliant.
Wouldn't surprise me if he was a squad player next season. Gotta be honest.
There's plenty of games that will go around, though, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the captain? Because there is rumours, strange rumours. I think Luton. I found that was a bit odd.
I don't think it's odd at all. I think it would have been odd if they hadn't have got promoted. But a newly promoted side looking for Jamal Lascelles, I think that kind of makes sense. I've always loved him.
His level now, though.
Well, we don't know because he never plays. We'll be bringing in a new centre-back, won't we? So that would push him further down the pecking order. Again, similar to like Darlow, I would sell him out of respect. If he stays, I'd be happy. I would. He's captained this football club with honour and dignity throughout the real dark days that he stood up to be counted when no one else would. I've only got positive things to say about him overall from his time at the club. If he stays, he stays. But I think he himself will know now that he's not in the manager's first team plans. They're looking at a right-sided centre-back to sign, which, you know, when we're looking to sign players now, they're going to be a different level than what they were before. So for me, it would be a sell, but it's not a criticism into Lascelles at all. But it would be a sell.
It'd be a sell for Lascelles. Easy for me to say. And obviously, I talked about this on Scoring the Players when we did it live. He came in at Liverpool and he was sensational.
Yeah.
When we got beat.
He's a good player.
It's just he had a dip of form. He had a great spell when he was Kieran Clark, that relationship with them two for a good 2-3 years. Then Lejeune, whoever Lejeune was it, that would be Clark, or back three when Rafa went to the wing back system. He had a spell, was singing his name, Southgate's got his number, Jamal Lascelles, and all of that. And then he's had a massive his form. And it was under Bruce. Let's be honest. But I think it was just before Bruce. To be honest, I'm not just saying it was Steve Bruce. I think it was just the end of Rafa's time. The little mistakes were starting to creep in. But yeah,
no, I think it was Bruce.
You reckon it was just all Bruce? I think it was. We'll agree.
The defense was good under Rafa on the whole, considering where we were at the time. We played a back five. Lejeune, Lascelles and Cher were very, very good, but yeah, it was Bruce. But again, if he stays to be a backup, then I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll get much even if we sell him, because his value is not big. I think 5 to 10 million. I think that's your asking price.
Probably.
So that's Jamal Lascelles. Now the last one is a young lad called Callum Watt, and I know Sam's opinion on him straight away. But I am actually going to agree because Sam says get rid, and I think it's a lot of things were expected of Cal Watts, and he's been up and down League 2, then the last couple of years League 1, Championship back to League 1. But he's now at the age where he's 23.
I think you'll probably find he's older than that.
Maybe 24, maybe turn 24. But you need.
I think either way, he probably got lucky to get a new deal when he did.
But big things were expecting him, and the club liked him. But I think he has to go, unfortunately, for his own development. Yes, he ticks a box. He can be club trained and selected for the Champions League. But is that all you're keeping around for? Nah. I think he needs to, unfortunately, leave the club. And I don't like saying it because I don't like local. Same as Matty. We'll come on to Matty soon. It's the same. I don't like Geordie's leaving, but I think for his own game, just being loaned out for the last 4 years. Yeah, let's get rid. We'll class Dan Burn as. We'll move on to the left backs. We'll class Dan Burn.
Well, it's an easy one anyway, isn't it? What a absolute behemoth.
Do you not think he's become a cult as well? That like
a what?
A cult.
Thank God.
You thought I said something else.
Just checking. Yeah, he will have a bit of a cult following, I've no doubt. And why not? He's a 6'7" left back.
Yeah, he's unorthodox, he's dangly, but on the flip side, he proper loves it. I think Dan Burn would play with the tune for fuck all. He would play it.
He probably is. FFP. But yeah, loves a big tackle. Loves a tear up, but a gentle giant, and everyone loves him to bits, and as right they should. Easy keep, brilliant.
What do we do with him next season, though? Do you agree with me moving him in?
It depends. There's not a lot of. I think left back recruitment is incredibly difficult this summer because there's outside of your sort of elite ones, there's not that many about of real genuine quality. So I think it could be tough. It wouldn't surprise me to see Dan Burn start the first game of the season at left back, put it that way.
But yeah, even if we sign a top quality left back, which I am going to be doing a video on left back as a target. Funny I should say that. Funny I should say that. That was good. That was accidental. Normally I'll take credit for it, but I didn't. I've kicked Adam off because he's dealing with the bench, so I'll just be just the two until Adam comes back. Matty Target. I'm torn on this one.
No, you can't be. You can't be torn. We had this argument last summer. I didn't want to sign him on a permanent because I said this would happen. Yous all got in the comments and gave me a load of shit and gave me a load of stick at Wakefield and said, no, we have to sign him. No, we didn't have to sign him on a permanent. I don't dislike the guy. He's absolutely...
I like you do.
He's fine. I love the Shermanator. But he is... There is one word to describe Matt Target, and that is fine. He's fine.
See,
that's all he is.
I think he deserved his move to Newcastle because on loan I think he was brilliant. But since then, at the time, 15 million for an English lad who's in form, playing brilliantly. That was a good buy for me. It's better. He's a better buy than Jamal Lewis at the same price, which we will come on to. And then
I don't think there's much between the two of them.
no, however, no, I think Matty Target's a bit of a level ahead of Jamal Lewis.
You think back to when we signed him, though, like Jamal
Lewis
Lewis.
looks like a shadow of his form. He looks like he's fragile. He's got no confidence. Can't get in. He's fourth choice left back.
Yeah, well, he come on left wing, didn't he, against Chelsea last day of the season? He still looks very good when he's on international duty.
I'll agree with you with Matty Target, just to the fact we can probably get some money in and go and get a better left back, because that's what I want. I think Newcastle need someone that can get up and down that wing, a modern day left back, because we haven't had. When was the last time we had one? Probably Jose Enrique to some extent, but we've never really had an outstanding, in my time, your time, an outstanding 9 out of 10 every week world class left back. We haven't.
You tell that to Ashraf Lazar.
Yeah, is he still model on Instagram? Is he still?
I don't know. I don't think he follows us anymore.
No, didn't follow him. So Matty Target. Let's go to Jamal Lewis. Adam, you're gonna have him.
Yeah, I think it's time to get rid of him, isn't it? For both the sake of both parties. Was it 1 appearance last season? 2? I know he's had his injury problems, but you'd have Mike Target ahead of him all day. I know, but yeah, it's time for him to go. He needs to progress. He's only still a young lad, to be fair, so he needs to progress his own career as well. So it's pointless just sat in the reserves for us. After it's pretty clear Eddie Howe doesn't rate him. So
yeah, shame on the lad. Sam doesn't like him.
Who?
Matty Target and Jamal Lewis.
You never actually asked me what I would have done with him. With Target.
Yeah, I would sell him just for the fact that we can get a bit of money and go and get a better. Because
I'd keep him.
You would keep him.
Yeah.
Is this
because you had to now? There's no point buying a £15 million left back and then flogging him 12 months later when he's barely played. So
yeah, I would. I think we don't have to worry about homegrown because we've got loads. That's fine. That's covered. We've got like 15, 16. So I'll go and get a foreign left back. Could you stay tuned to the channel because I'm doing a video on it. I mean, my dream sign would be Rafael Guerrero, but it looks like he's off to Bayern Munich. But
that's done. Forget it. The dream's gone.
Because he was the ideal one. But Jamal Lewis will need to go. I think everyone's starting to agree. But worst case scenario, I wouldn't be against a loan. Get him out.
That's what I would do. I'm not completely ready to give up on him. I think he needs a good loan for a whole good loan in the Championship next season to get his confidence back, get him playing. There's a reason why we bought him, and there's a reason why Liverpool wanted him. So I'm not ready to give up on him yet. And I think he could be of use. Not to be like our starting left back. Those days are probably gone without some huge kind of Almiron-esque improvement. But I don't think a loan would be a bad idea, although I don't disagree with selling him for his own benefit.
Left back / centre back is going to get a new deal. Paul Dummett. Sam, back to you.
Yeah, they've offered him another year. I'm guessing this is for... Yeah, I mean, again, it could be about... I'd love to see Paul Dummett play against Barcelona.
You just want to see that.
I would love to see Paul Dummett play against Real Madrid. I would love to see Paul Dummett mark Neymar out of a game. I would just love to, on Mbappe, just to let him know you're there. That's what I would love to see. I think it's a box-ticking exercise, which I don't mean in a disrespectful way to Paul Dummett, because 10 years service now, let's not forget that. And he's had some great moments in the shirt. And he's, again, part of that culture that Eddie Howe's instilled into the place. Personally, I probably would have released him.
I would have. Adam, what are your thoughts on Dummett?
I can't remember the last time I seen him kick a ball, to be honest.
He was supposed to come on who was it against? But then the final whistle went, so he couldn't come on.
Leicester.
He was all stripped.
Leicester.
Yeah, he was, or was it
Leicester
Arsenal?
Brighton. Leicester Brighton. It was one of them.
Brighton actually. He was
Yeah.
all stripped off and ready to come on at the side, and then the final
I mean,
whistle went.
you look at how he kind of started his Newcastle career. The potential was, it's frightening, to be fair, and he's never really materialised into what he could have been. Yes, he puts the graft in, but he's too injury prone. Gets caught out of position so many times when he is playing.
Slow now as well.
Slow, yeah. Good servant, but again, I think it's just been maybe he's kept around for the wrong reasons, rather than footballing reasons. He's really just not the standard we need, I don't think, anymore.
But he's going to be at the club. But obviously, Sam's decision. Let's keep him. You're saying get rid of him, aren't you?
Yes.
I'll change that. This is because I'm all doing it live. I haven't got this preloaded.
But recruitment at left back will be difficult this summer.
It's a massive position as well.
Yeah, there's not many good ones around.
So we're letting Paul Dummett go. So let's get rid of him. He'll not get much from him. But he is going to stay at the club because he's been offered a year's deal. Just effectively to click a club trained player, which is different to a home grade in the Champions League, not to be confused with the Premier League rules. So I think that's every defender covered.
Are we assuming Kieran Clark gets released?
Yeah, we'll not cover people who are out on loan unless they return at the club. So we'll do Hendrick and Hayden, but with the rest, yeah, because we'll not do it.
Can't wait for Hendrick to come back.
Gone back talking about players like that.
I'd rather Hendrick than McTominay. There, I said it.
Mental that. Right, let's begin with I don't know. Who do you want, Adam? Pick a Brazilian in the midfield.
Well, I'll go for Bruno then.
Go on and tell me about him. Why would you keep him? I'm assuming.
Oh, of course. Technically one of the best footballers we've had in a long, long time. It's got that aggression. I love that bit of aggression. I know we can put the odd naughty tackle in, but we've missed that probably since Toyota. Oh, sorry?
Cabai was a bit like that as well.
Yes.
I'm not. Yeah, which I think Bruno's twice the player Cabai was. And he just runs that midfield. To be fair, the last 8 or 9 games, I wouldn't say he'd been poor, but he was nowhere near the standards he set.
Got an ankle injury, any?
You could tell that, especially the last couple of games, he was just absolutely blown out his arse. But again, epitomises everything Eddie Howe's brought to this club: hard work, aggression, pressing, and you can just tell he loves playing for the club. A lot of people are watching. He's one of the best centre midfielders they've seen because they're of that age. They didn't see the Beatties, the Rob Lees. So Bruno's, he's up there with some of the best some younger fans have ever seen. And that's a testament to him. And I think if we hadn't got Champions League, to be honest, we could have had a fight in our hands to keep a hold of him and Botman, to be honest. I miss Botman. Used to sport about him, so I think that's how important it was.
Yeah, we actually, you missed Botman, Adam. We actually went loan. We think he could do with a year in the Championship.
Right, Sunderland. Yeah, absolutely love Bruno. He's just absolutely top drawer. I think he just needs. I'd love to see him a bit more advanced. I think he could score more goals, and we need a bit, a player behind him. So, but yeah. Yes.
I'd love us to sign a defensive midfielder and get him into the right-hand side of that 3, where he was the back end of previous season. God, he's just phenomenal. We haven't won a game without him. Simple as that. I mean, if you come home and he was in bed with your missus, you took him in. He's that great. So it's just, God, he's good.
Just a couple of things in the comments as well, because people are thinking that I'm comparing Cabai to, and Ned said kebab there, joking here. I'm not. I'm saying that he's got a bit of bite in him, like Bruno has.
We're talking about centre midfield aggression now.
Yes, not in terms of they're the same type of player, but Bruno's class. I'll go Joe Willock. On this one. It's a keep. I think what I like about Joe Willock is I think there's more to come. I don't think he's the finished article yet, and I like that. For me, he's got assists of the season. Fuck me, that was filth. Absolutely incredible. And I think he started to pick up probably the first half of the season, maybe average 6 out of 10, 7 maybe. Second half of the season, I'll probably push that 8, sometimes even 9s. I think he had some fantastic games. The link up with Joe Linton, that partnership as well. He's awareness as well. He doesn't lose the ball as much now. Ball carrier, can bring the ball forward. He does chip in the odd goal. I would like to say a few more goals, a bit like Bruno. I would like to say Willock score maybe 7s, 8s every season consistently. And then I think that's when Southgate look and go, "Ooh, okay, he's decent him." But I think you can play Joe Willock at any position across that midfield. I think he'd do a job. I really do. I think he's, when you're scoring goals for fun, I think, bloody hell, fuck me, we've got a player, yeah, we have to sign him. And then we're seeing it, he's got a bit more about his game. He's not always about getting forward. But I think it's an obvious one. I really like him as well. I think the longer he stays at the club, I think he's only just starting to bring out his personality a little bit now. He seems a little bit more comfortable. And he has a great relationship with Alexander Isak as well. So them two have become close as well. So more of it because he seems like a really shy lad. And I think he's also a bit like Jamal Lewis. I think he's a confidence player. For me, Joe Willock, I've got to keep. And you guys want to jump on that? Or
I'm glad you mentioned the start of the season, because if you'd have maintained that form, I would have probably said sell him. Because he did need more goals and assists, because his final ball was horrific. But my word, second half of the season, absolutely blistering. Fair play to the lad. Unbelievable pass for Isaac's goal against Spurs. And easy keep in the end.
It comes down to management again. He was poor the first half of the season. He was took out of the team for quite a few games. Same happened with Callum Wilson when Callum was out of form. It's great man management, because when they come back into the team, Willock's probably been arguably the most improved player of the season. As it's gone on, he was carrying the team at times towards the end of the season in some games with his energy. So, and what is he, 23, 24?
Deceptively fast, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, he's got so much ahead of him. And I'm glad he's in our squad than Arsenal's, because I think Arsenal made a massive mistake getting rid of him personally.
First team football, innit? It's local lads leaving your clubs. It's not a great thing. Arsenal fans don't like it, and he's obviously quite close to Saka, wasn't he? But yeah, Joe Willock. We'll leave Sean Longstaff for a second. You can have the other Brazilian, Mr. Molina, Joe Linton, who is everywhere the last 24 hours, last 40 hours in a Brazilian shirt, scoring goals and training, soon to be a Brazilian international. Incredible.
Yeah. And again, speaking of midfield aggression, you won't find many more aggressive than Joe Linton this season. What an absolute beast. It's an easy keep. We don't have much more to say on him other than that. It's one of the most impressive turnaround stories you will ever see in football, ever. And I don't know if you remember, the pair of you might, when we were doing these before, and we all agreed that it was sell because he was rubbish. But I did mention this, and I'm not saying that I told you so. This is not an I told you so moment. I'm going to say no. It's not.
Trying to claim credit, and Adam, look at him trying to claim credit.
No.
I told you Joe Linton was a player.
No. I'll wait for Sean Longstaff for that. But I did say I think there's a bit of John Dahl Thomason about him. In that there's a sort of player in there somewhere, but I just don't think we've got it yet. But John Dahl Thomason was never converted to midfield and a prime Patrick Vieira, was he? And he's just, instead of a shy kind of young guy,
he was
away from home.
He was on the
still
pitch.
Fairly timid. The aura and presence he has about him now is just absolutely massive, and it's a joy to see. And he's a very, very special player. Keep.
Yeah, easy. And I love the fact if anybody, doesn't matter who it is on the pitch, gets pushed or anything, Joe Linton is straight hour.
He set the tone from pre-season. He caused a melee against Benfica in a pre-season friendly. That set the tone.
It was just brilliant. Absolute brilliant. And next one's local lad who has caused a divided opinion on this channel for a few years is Sean Longstaff. Adam, I'll come to you on this one. Is this now obvious? Has he just turned his career around this season?
Well, if you think to the few in his first breakthrough season with Rafa was the manager, you were talking 50, 60 million. Clubs were apparently wanting to buy him for. And then obviously we went through the dark days of Bruce, where he kind of seemed to lose his way a bit, lose his position, where was he meant to be? And obviously, as fans do, a lot of fans started getting on his back. And he's just come back this season and completely turned opinion around, certainly my opinion, in how he's played, his attitude, the way he gets about the pitches. I tell you what's massively improved with him, and not just him, I feel his fitness. He's probably the fittest lad in the team. When you watch him, he never stops running.
He always looks out of breath, doesn't he? Every time you see him.
And again, he'll always split decision. I know my dad, every time my dad's watching my dad's Longstaff, this Longstaff, there's always going to be a certain group of fans who because he's a local lad, and he gets a bit more stick than maybe Bruno would, for example. But I think his character's been fantastic, and the way we missed him he came back, I think, the last game, didn't he? But we missed him for 4 or 5 games towards the end, and it was telling. We lost our shape a lot. But then you come on the argument, which is probably a different video of, if we're going to get a Maddison in, who's the one who's going to drop out, and but definitely keep. He's at the right age. He's still got a couple of his best years ahead of him. And I said, as the fella says there'll be a few lads eating humble pie because he was the worst enemy a couple of seasons ago.
How come Adam can see the comments and Sam can't?
I can see the comments when you flash them up.
Ah, right, okay. You're saying you couldn't. Oh, right, I thought you couldn't. Right, okay. Question for you, Sam, and I'll throw this to Adam as well. Can he be converted into a defensive midfielder? Does he have the discipline?
Yes, he could he could do a job there, but the problem is our defensive midfield role is a hell of a lot different than what it was a couple of seasons ago. Because under Bruce, Isaac Hayden was perfect for us in that defensive midfielder role. No nonsense, tough tackling. But now, when you're sat in front of that back four, you need to be able to ping passes as well. You need to be able to create space. You need to be able to start an attack. You need to be able to do this, that, and the other, as well as protect your back four. So there's a lot more to it now. I mean, this is the one where I did tell you. So you can't. Most players will go through patches of bad form, and Sean had been through hell and back with injuries and losing confidence, but what a turnaround. And we're seeing now the old Longstaff where him and Hayden dominated Manchester City when Rafa was in charge. So it's great to see. I mean, it's not my player to decide, but for me it's an easy keep, always was. Brilliant to see. Brilliant.
We'll move on to a couple of 3 centre midfielders who are just hanging around the club, maybe. I'll start with Matty because that's his brother. So I'll start with Matty. It's similar to Paul Dummett, as I talked about before, is that I could see the club giving him another year. Just again, club trained, Champions League, great. But for his career and where we are now, because when he broke through, we thought, Matty's going to jump ahead of Sean. And now Sean's gone up a level again, and Matty's gone the other way down. For me, he's nowhere near the first team. He's not even looked at. Doesn't make the bench. I know he's had the injury, but I'm talking like the last, since Eddie's been here long term. I think you've got to let him go now and go and get first team football and go and get a career somewhere. It's again, I don't like saying it because he's a local lad. Don't get me wrong, but I think he needs to. Any of us disagree on that?
Yeah. I'd give him another year. Horrendous. Yeah, but just for the fact that sort of duty of care, he's got a terrible injury. He's not going to. If you release him this summer, he's not going to get a new club because he's still crocked.
There is on the lower leagues, but it's just if he stays,
he's been a victim of just terrible mismanagement from Steve Bruce.
Yeah, 100%.
Who gave him the world and then ripped it from under his feet. And then he's had a couple of shocking loan moves.
Mm-hmm.
But is it not also down to him himself as well as the club for doing that? Because you've got to show himself, first of all.
But he's had injury woes. Look, there's a player in there somewhere. And, with the right care and attention and getting his head right, because it must be tough for him, then, there's no reason why he can't resurrect his career at Newcastle like his brother.
Yeah, he's had a couple of indifferent ones. Great in Mansfield, awful at Aberdeen. Another yes is Toonami. Sell Mr. Shortstaff. And maybe a chance, Matty needs to be moved on. Said that he hasn't really kicked on, especially with his long-term injury. Needs a loan. Give him one last chance, maybe. Other than that,
it's a bad one as well. This is as well. It's a real bad injury. He's not had slight niggling injuries. He's had bad ones that just take time. So
it's not like he's out for 2 weeks kind of job. He's literally out. If you are watching live, drop us a like. We've got the original Adam P is here. The original Adam P is here. That's kind of
Are
trendy.
you on a health kick, Adam? Because you're drinking flavoured water and not beer.
You've changed, Adam.
I'm in charge of a 2.5-year-old tonight, so I think it's frowned upon if you forget what you said.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point, Sam. Because if
Yeah.
you've seen drinking lots of cans, he's got them out of shot at the minute.
Many streams I used to do, I had to rewatch to see what I said. I was a bit intoxicated.
I think you'll have social services knocking on his door if he's having cans.
Yeah.
On streams, you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Adam, I'm going to come to you, Isaac Hayden. He's still got 3 years on his deal. But Eddie Howe has said already in his press, I think it was his second last one, that he's going to go with the under-21s. Doesn't matter, he's not training with the first team. What would you do, though?
He's got. I think it's time for him to go. I was a bit mixed last year when it was announced he was going to Norwich. I thought he could have done a job, but I think Eddie's justified his decision. The club's moved on from Isaac. He was a fantastic servant, one of my favourite players for a couple of seasons in the way he carried himself and cared about the club. But I think he's been injury ravaged this season at Norwich. I don't think he's played a great deal, and Norwich have had a pretty average season. I think they'll just look to loan him again if obviously that's what he's got left in his contract, which is mad. I didn't realise he had that long. But yeah, I still think he can play Premier League football at a lower club. He's definitely a grafter, but yeah, I think his time at Newcastle's done.
Yeah, it's a shame because Sam and Johnny interviewed him just last summer, and he was saying really nice things, and it looked set in stone that he was going to go. But here he is. He's back because Norwich didn't get promoted. But there you go.
I think it's a good point. Premier League player for me. If I was Luton, if I was Sheffield United, I don't know, maybe even an Everton, something like that. Down that at Crystal Palace. I think he could do a great job for any of them.
100%.
Jeff Hendrick has still a year left on his contract. People think he's a free agent. He's not.
Do Milan still want him?
Yeah, get him a Milan. Get him.
Do we swap him for Tonali?
What's the third team in Milan? You can go in there. I don't know what the third team in Milan is. Is it Cesarea or something it's called? Yeah. I mean, he talk about disastrous loans. He's had a couple of, and he's playing every week in, week out, and he's just shit. He was with part of
relegated.
Part of that Reading team. It was Reading, wasn't it? And I went doing this, and he's in the Irish squad at the minute. That's how poor Ireland are. When you've got to have Jeff Hendrick as your centre midfielder.
Yeah, him and Andy Carroll got relegated with Reading, didn't they?
Yeah. Andy Carroll got sent off, didn't he? Didn't he start? No, that was at Old Trafford. I watched that one when he got sent off. That was a wild one. But Jeff Hendrick, a waste of money. He's on, 40k a week or something daft like that? But it was a free transfer, but he's still got a year left on his deal, so it won't be too surprised that he gets, if we can't sell him, give him a loan, and that's him gone effectively.
Hendrick versus Kroos just for the bants in the Champions League.
Imagine it, man. Crackers.
He scored the last ever goal in the Steve Bruce's reign, though, so that was...
Yeah, I was there that day. Jesus.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and he also scored... He also scored one goal from 3 shots. He had a shot ratio of 33%, the best in Newcastle. Mental. Absolutely cracker. But we'll move on from him. We'll move on to the wingers. We'll go... Well, it doesn't matter which way we'll go. We'll start... I want to keep the big boy to last. Let's go Miggy. And I'll start off Miggy because I haven't done one for a couple. I've got to keep Miggy Almiron. And I know his form had dropped a little bit, but I think he deserved that contract to show that. And I think it's a big season for him. He's 29 is he now? No longer a kid. He looks like a kid, but he's not a kid anymore. So this is a big season. Can he step up to the big boys across the Champions League? Because we will be in a group of death of some sort. Because the teams in pot 1 and 2 are just giants. So
bring it on.
Bring it on, indeed. Those European nights away. Be another Bruges for Adam, won't it? And but you've got to keep him. First half of the season, sensational. Yeah, I've got to keep him. It's just got to keep him. I think we can also, even if he's not a regular, and we do go and improve another winger. That's up for debate. But I think even off the bench, he deserves his contracts. He's not going to be. He's not going to take Newcastle to the next level. No. I think he's hit his peak, but yeah, let's keep him. Deserves his contract, and we'll go across to. Let's give you an easy one, Adam. Talk to me about Ryan Fraser.
It's been announced today, is that he's away, and he's possibly agreed a deal with Norwich. I was reading that somewhere.
Only a loan though, apparently.
Yeah, because we've probably got him on big wages. I mean, in his defence, when Eddie came in, he did a shift last season, and to keep us up, he was one of
kept Almiron out the team.
Yeah, he was one of our better players, but obviously, at the end of the day, Eddie's not going to forget what happened at Bournemouth. It doesn't matter. He may have been professional at the time, but he was going to get him out the door as quick as he could. He knows that attitude. When things were flying for Newcastle, he came out and said, he just wants players who want to play for Newcastle. Who doesn't want to play for Newcastle at the minute, especially a very average player like Fraser? It doesn't make any sense. So I think his attitude's obviously very questionable. Won't be remembered for much. He did okay when he played, but he was never, fantastic. So yeah, it's time to get rid of him.
I remember a time, and it was only under a year ago, I was saying Ryan Fraser needs to play. Ryan Fraser needs to play.
He did play well though in that time.
He was the only one that was really, because Miggy was out of form the start of the season. Yeah. ESM was only a natural proper performer, and we had problems. And I was like, you've got to, because Murphy wasn't the same. So it's mad how, like I say, times can change so easily. But Ryan Fraser has to go. And yeah, he's another one of them that might sit on the books for a couple of years because he's still got 2 years left.
Probably.
Mad some of them deals we used to hand out.
But we'll get rid of Ryan Fraser. Jacob Murphy, Mr. Mulliner.
What a turnaround. Unbelievable. I mean, you could say, well, if we get a good offer for him, then sell him. But then I just close my eyes and I see that smiling face after the draw at home to Leicester when we qualify for the Champions League, and you just think you can't get rid of that.
Or the hi.
He's the turnaround in him has been so long term, and just credit to the guy. Because he looked, for his first 2 or 3 years at Newcastle, he looked pretty pants, didn't he? Championship player at best. Grafted, got his head down. Couple of valuable loan moves. Came back, and he's been involved in nearly every game this season. I think one he's missed all season. One. Jacob Murphy missing one game all season. Absolutely incredible. You've got to keep him. Had we won the Carabao Cup, I would have wanted to have parted with Jacob Murphy that night.
If a fee comes in, a fairly big fee, I would tell him. Only on that condition.
You would have to get more than what we paid for him.
If a fee come in for 20 million, will you get rid of him?
Yeah. But then no one's
going to pay that though, are they?
No one would pay that. Nottingham Forest might. But then you just look at his face. Look at his face. And the face when he scored against Tottenham. And
you just want to cuddle him, didn't you?
Yeah, I do now. But yeah, I'd keep him. And I never ever thought I'd say that, because I think pretty much for the last 4 or 5 years, whenever I've done this, it's always been sell. But keep. Unbelievable.
I would personally get rid of it if the fee come in. If we can make a profit, I would personally. I don't think long term. Great season, brilliant story, but for me, no. Adam, I'm going to come to you for Anthony Gordon.
Still a lot to save him. Big fee paid 6 months ago. Definitely keep for now. I think obviously what Eddie Howe would be very good at taming his attitude. Obviously, we're seeing the petulance once or twice when did he get subbed off? For the good of the team. Eddie was trying to take him off, and he's always got that. We knew that when he came from Everton, he's going to have that, but he's got the right manager to kick that out of him. Consistency. I think that's all I can ask for him going into this season. Whether he's playing Champions League, the league, we still want to give one of the domestic cups a good go. He's got to be more consistent, because I feel when he gets the ball, I don't know what type of player he is yet. I don't know if he's meant to be taking people on or playing a simple ball. He's very much struggling to succeed. Every time I've seen him at Everton, I thought he was this flair player, dangerous, and I've not really seen that yet. I was over the moon he got his goal against Chelsea. It was Chelsea, yeah.
Did you like the interview afterwards? Did you see it?
Remind us.
He literally just came out and said, I haven't been good enough.
I think you can tell he loves football and he's going to strive. And I think it's better us having them in Everton. You know, he's only a young lad. I think he's away with the under-21s at the minute, so he's in the right setup as well. I just think we've got the right manager. I think that's what puts me at ease more with him. I really trust Eddie Howe in dealing with like difficult players, and I think he can only go from strength to strength. And I said it's going to be a long, hard season next year, so definitely.
I think he is learning. Like you've seen the little crybaby moment at Brentford away. We've seen that, but
credit Matt Ritchie, but like he's a kid.
We'll come at him in a second.
We've paid £45 million for a kid, so he needs time. It's a long-term project. Look, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have signed him, but he has my full unconditional support. And it's a long-term project with him because he's still very young. And like Adam said, I'm glad he got his goal because it's a monkey off his back. He deserved his goal. There's been glimpses of brilliance, but yeah, there's a lot more to come for him. I wouldn't be writing him off at all.
So we haven't got rid of a winger yet. This is interesting because I still think we need to improve on that position. But we'll come to Elliot Anderson. This might throw an odd one out. I would personally loan him out. I think he'll stay at the club though. Again, club trained player. I just think, yes, he's played a couple of games because we had a couple of injuries towards the end. I just think it'll much be better if I can see him playing 40 games in the Championship. I just want to see it, and maybe have a clause in there that you can return him, or maybe just a loan to January to see how he gets on. I think he needs to go and play first team because he's seen at Bristol Rovers, yes, and that to League Two, but he was just bossing that league, scoring worldies and all that, and bending them top corners from the edge of the box and stuff. So for me, I would like to see him alone. I think he will stay though. I think Eddie Howe's thriving on it. That he believes that he can make him better. I think he thrives on it. But for me, I think the development in this stage of his career, where before them injuries, he's only getting 5 minutes. He's coming on for 10 minutes. The game was already won. He's getting, and it might. I don't know. Will it harp at his chances that he doesn't have a fixed position because he's left wing, he's set in the midfield, he's played a little tiny bit advanced, hasn't really had a spell over the right yet, but that's maybe not his position. But I think you've got to loan him out. And then I'd be gutted if he was to go out on loan because he'd want to be part of the Champions League and all that, being a Geordie, what have you. But I just generally think if we're going to strengthen the side, especially in midfield, I think he's going to be knocked down a peg and he's just going to be doing the 5-minute jobs. Yes, the cup competitions are different, but go out and play twice a week, 90 minutes, go out. That's my personal opinion. What do you think, lads?
I think he's at an important time in his career where he needs to play first-team football. Yes, he could develop training with the team, but I agree with you in a way that it looks like we're going to get another centre midfielder in. Obviously, there's a lot of talk today about Maddison. You know how long that's been going on. If he comes in, that just puts Elliot down the pecking order again. He needs to play week in, week out at this stage of his career, and then hopefully, touch wood, it's not the last year in the Champions League. So he's still got that to look forward to. Playing European football. I just don't think he's going to get the minutes he wants next season.
Is he a Premier League player? Or is that too?
Yeah, I think he can be.
He can be. So the potential is there.
100%.
And there's no harm dropping down. You look at Harry Kane. He spent, 3 or 4 unsuccessful loans out. It didn't really make it. So loan to January as Mighty Win was finally agreed with me tonight.
Yeah, with a recall clause, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I'm still narked for him that goal at Forest was chalked off because that was just ridiculous.
I agree with you.
Yeah. It's not a bad plan to do what you said. I don't disagree with anything you said, Lee. But if he sticks around, I wouldn't be disappointed. But a good Championship loan, someone, I don't know, like Borough, perhaps, only down the road, might not be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, and it'll be good if it was like a Middlesbrough because it's literally only like an hour drive. So, Matt Ritchie. It's a sad story because I think... Well, I'm not going to say it. Sorry, Sam. I'll leave it you because it's your decision.
Okay. He'll be a big loss in the dressing room.
I agree.
Big loss. The most important thing Matt Ritchie did this season was at the final whistle at Brentford with Anthony Gordon. Just unbelievable character and leadership. And one of the most, I've said it before on the stream, so I don't want to repeat myself and sound like a broken record, but he'll go down as one of the most important players Newcastle United have had in the past 10 years. Of that, I had no doubt. Through the real dark times, got us back up in the Premier League, kept us up in the Premier League with some huge goals and some big important moments. Wants to finish his career at Portsmouth. His family, as far as I know, still live all on the south coast.
And he drives there after games. If he got the next day off. It's a long drive.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? But yeah, I would. It wouldn't surprise me. Look, he's out of contract. They've offered him a year extension, same as Dummett. It wouldn't surprise me if he turned it down and went.
Money.
Yeah,
I think he's not driven by money.
No, I don't think he is. And he's been doing some coaching in the academy as well, hasn't he? So a player coach role possibly could be on the cards, which I think he'll make a fantastic manager one day. Yeah, I've got nothing but love for Matt Ritchie. Incredible person, incredible player over the past however many years he's been with us, 6. Yeah, but I think it's probably about now that he can go and finish his career at Portsmouth or somewhere down south.
Yeah, he's a good loyal servant. I think that 12 million alone just for the championship season, just alone was worth.
He owes us absolutely nothing. He's given us everything and more.
Yeah, and he was up for the surprise that we did for you on the channel as well. So he played. That
was 3 years ago.
Mad that when he popped on and said, "Hello, Sam." Sam thought he was going on the podcast, but no. Right. Before we get on to ASM, because that's the big one, Garang Koala's back. I think that's pretty obvious. I think he's not going to. Eddie Howe's already said he's going to go out. He's going to go out and play. Where that'll be, don't know. I think.
Can we make it a good loan this time, please?
Stop loaning Scotland.
Do you think there should be? Do you think there should be an obligation in these laws? Because we've just seen it with Minty go out to Feyenoord, who's a similar kind of player. There should be an obligation where they've got to play 75% of the games or something.
Just not play in Scotland. That's a start. Honestly, we meant to have a loan manager. The loans. So we mentioned Matty Longstaff before. Some of the loans are crazy.
I think he wanted to go though. He wanted Hearts.
Why?
Because they've got all the Australians there.
No, I might. He's a bloody idiot for doing that.
He gets the children, but no.
Yeah, you've got like 3 Australian nationals, so it was easier for him coming to the UK, going straight up.
He'd light up the championship. I've no doubt.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, let's get him out on loan because I think there is a bit of talent there, and we need to see more of it. A bit like Minty, so we'll see how he gets on at Feyenoord with Garang Koala. Right, Alan Saint-Maximin.
How weird that we're loaning youth players to the Dutch champions.
Because we're massive.
Who are in Pot A in the Champions League.
Who we could get. And we've seen it with Cancelo. He played against Man City. So we could score the win against.
Could be Lamala Walla all over again.
And and if he plays similar to him, I hope that's in the contract that he can't play against her. Ferdinand. So, but anyway, what was I saying? Alan Saint-Maximin. Now, if Carl Hall was here, you want rid. And I think you upset him because the very next night, Alan Saint-Maximin puts a post on Instagram, very cryptic message. That's Carl Hall's fault. So, look, I think it's no big secret that, you can blow hot and cold. I'm going to keep him because I think we have said about what Murphy, Miggy, ASM, Gordon all keep. But I still think we need another better winger in somewhere. I do. So it could be a casualty. He could be the main one. That's a very cryptic message. But
we had all of them, and we were still playing Isaac on the left towards the end of the season. So I know there is scope for one more.
So for me, I keep Alan Saint-Maximin because I think you just picture it. Yes, you might not be. This might be the time in his career because he said he's at a crossroads, even on that post. Even if he stays at the club, this might be the time where he's no longer a regular now. Because we've seen it even when he comes back. Yes, he's got a niggle injury. He's out for 2 games. He's back. Can't get in the side because of form. He's out. Niggle injury. Oh, he looks great. Injury. That's what it's been like all season. So if it's the time now where he's no longer guaranteed first choice, he's a fucking great option off the bench. He's a brilliant option where it's 0-0, you know, one of the Italian teams or whatever.
I was just about to say aging Italian defence.
Yeah, because I've said that a few times. The park on the bus, they're playing for a point, knowing that that'll make them qualified for the Europa League or whatever, or the top two in the Champions League go through. And Alan Saint-Maximin comes on. He's the guy that you want just to lift the crowd, first of all, and do the tricks and flicks. Yes, he's got faults and all that, but ability-wise, he's the best wing at the club. Ability-wise, he's just, for me, just doesn't show it enough. And the Bruce football was perfect for him. It really was, because it was literally pot the ball, get it at Wilson, get it at ESM, that's your attack. But I think he deserves a chance, and I think, you know what it is? I think he's passionate and he cares about Newcastle, and I think it does upset him. And I know he's a make you take on Twitter on occasion and take the piss, but I think it does hurt him that Newcastle fans slag him off and didn't back him. So I'm keeping him.
Yeah,
we'll go all the way around the room for this.
Love him to bits. I've argued till I'm blue in the face about this. I just don't want to hear it anymore. That people think he should leave. Saleable assets and all that guff. I'm not interested. Keep all day long.
For those that are in the comments that might say that what you want him to leave, you telling me Jacob Murphy's a better option than Alan Saint-Maximin?
I think the issue is, and I wouldn't read too much into Twitter and post stuff like that, but it's obviously at the time of season.
I would, because he retweeted mine and Johnny's interview with him the other day. So I actually would.
Filmed and produced by yours truly.
Yeah,
not cryptic ones. So I don't like cryptic stuff. It's just to get people talking. But I think it's at that time of the season where Eddie Howe is obviously he's sitting down with every player and he's telling them his plans for next season. And I just don't think ESM fits into this system, this high pressing system. This, you've got to be fit, running for 90 minutes. I just don't think he fits into it. And I think, Lee, you mentioned before, yes, he's great to come off the bench if we're losing 1-0, or, but is that what he wants? I don't think it is. I think he wants to play week in, week out.
He wants to be the man, doesn't he? The star.
I don't think Eddie Howe's going to give him that guarantee. He may want to play him, don't get me wrong, but as you mentioned, he's not fit enough. We can't have a squad next year where you play 2 games and then you're out for 5 or 6. It's Champions League, it's massive. As I mentioned, we still want to have a run the cup. We need him fit. Is his heart there? Of course it is. You can tell he loves the club. He does so much in the community. But he will want to play first team football. He'll want to get in the France squad for the Euros. And I just don't think Eddie Howe trusts him in this system. When you mentioned Jake Murphy, is Murphy a better footballer? Of course he's not. But Murphy works a lot harder than him. And that's what Eddie Howe likes about your team. If you watch them week in, week out, you know. And I think it's just been unfortunate that Callum Wilson, ASM, Isaac, doesn't really all seem to have been fully fit at the same time. One of them's had some sort of injury. So I think it's a shame we haven't seen them fully. But I think if he's not going to be guaranteed week in, week out, I do think he'll personally want to go to a team where, I'd be good to see him at another Premier League club, don't get us wrong. That'd break my heart, to be honest. But I just think, of course, you want to keep him as a fan. I just don't think Eddie's going to give him the guarantees he wants.
Are you living in an aviary?
There's birds out there. I'll have to shut the window.
That's all right.
Do you know what I thought it was? I was looking for the dog, thinking he's got a toy. So I'm looking around and thinking, has he got a toy? Is that what he's got?
Fucking bird's nest just flown into Adam's kitchen.
Not a 2-year-old, it's a bird.
It's birds. Now I've got the dog chasing the cat going on here. It's all happening, yeah. Ferdinand, hey, behave. So, no, different jump up. Alan Saint-Maximin's that debate. There's loads going on in the comments as well. No,
I saw a comment, forgive me, because due to our unique new system, I can't see.
Is it the market replacement one?
Yes,
it's fantastic. Value. Ginger Weiss, it's a fantastic comment. I'll put it back up. So
is he better than the market replacement? So let's say, what are you going to get for Alan Saint-Maximin now, realistically? 30 odd. Is he better than a market replacement? Who are you going to get for 30 million? So as soon as Leverkusen want twice that for Diaby, which isn't happening. Is he better than Harvey Barnes?
Yes.
That's tight. It's tight. I don't think it's clear.
So it's not an obvious one. I would just keep him. It's like this guy was born to light up the Champions League. So let's see it, and let's see him do it for Newcastle.
Yeah, and there you go. There's the wingers, midfielders, defenders, goalkeepers. We've only got two strikers to mention,
and they're both keeps. So what's the problem? Although I did have a dream last night. Fun fact that we sold Callum Wilson to Wolves.
Not when he's 34 or something. Well, he is from the area. He's from Coventry, isn't he?
He's from Coventry. Yeah, he's Cov. Yeah.
Yeah, since he's talking about Wilson, Adam, I'll let you have a say because he had that as a cat's run in front of the camera there. If you caught that, as the knocks are flying. Hey, it's all happening. It's like a fucking zoo in this house, honestly. Honestly, fucking hell.
Perry, you're so unprofessional.
I've got the dog chasing the fucking cat. I've got birds going off. I've got babies crying in the background. Fuck me, it's like the good old days. Right. Get me back in that studio. Callum Wilson, sorry, Adam. Start of the season, brilliant. World Cup, went to the World Cup. We're all buzzing for him, thinking, get in. He's got in the World Cup. I said to Sam the other night when he came off the bench, I can't remember, that might have been the Iran game when the 5-1 up or something. He's through on goal. Oh, he should have shot and he passes it to Grealish for a tap in. But since the World Cup, his form's dipped and he's a confident lad. And he keeps saying on his podcast that he does, I'm going to score. I'm confident I will score. I will score. And obviously, Isaac competition was a massive, healthy thing for me. Massive for the actual team. And then he came back and he was scoring 2 off the bench, a couple of games running, starting, scoring. And it was like, bloody hell, how do you pick here? What was it? 17, 18 goals with Premier League?
Yeah.
And that's the highest since Shearer, I think.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, he responded the way you'd want any centre-forward to respond. He brought out the team and deservedly brought out the team. He was poor. That World Cup didn't help. Just sat on the bench, not playing football, training, and it just didn't help him. Then he came back injured, obviously, and struggled to get going. But then I said some of the goals he scored towards the end of the season, just prolific, prolific centre-forward goals. But what he's always worked hard, but I think his fitness has improved. I don't mean as in he's not getting injuries because he still picks up them injuries. I mean, when he is playing, he's working a lot harder across, the back four. He never used to do that as much, so that's good to see. But I think him and Isaac combining, it's exciting. That's an exciting partnership to look forward to next season again.
Do you think it'll be a partnership? Because I think it's competition.
It is. It's good for both because you've seen when he started, Isaac Wilson's come in and scored, and then they've been assisting each other's goals. And obviously, I think I can't remember the game, but everyone was screaming out for them to start together, and we were pretty poor. But again, I think we need another centre forward in, so it's whatever that option may be when it comes around. But if you look how his career's developed from where he started. If you listen to his podcast, he's very humble, seems a very humble person. He deserves to play Champions League football. And again, he's starting to get the back end of his career now. He's still in the England squad. He's away with England now, which is great for Newcastle. Just hope we can keep him fit. That's the thing, just keeping him fit.
I think also as well, Sam, if we go back, we haven't really had a competition like this because even when Demba Ba and Cisse come in, one of them, it was Demba Ba first, pushed out on the left. They didn't have the balls to drop one of them. I think now, since we're talking about Isak's an obviously keep, but I think now it has to be just one or the other. You cannot play Isak on the left. You've got to make the decision now. Right, you're number one. You're not playing well. I'm going to bring you out. Wilson, you're coming in now. Go and show me. I think it has to be that now. It has to be a healthy rivalry between the two. And if you're chasing a game, as Adam says, maybe go with 2 up top or put him on the wing. But for me, Isak is better for himself and for the team as a striker. And if that means Callum Wilson has to sit on the bench, then he has to
I've been telling you that since September.
No, but I don't want the situation where, because no,
I was being facetious. But yeah, no, look, we all know my feelings.
What does that mean?
It doesn't matter. But look, you're correct in what you say. Yes, Isaac is a striker. He's our centre forward. He's our number one choice. I want healthy competition next season. I mean, we can more or less tie these in on both of them, aren't we? Because we're going to keep them both. Yeah. Look, there has to be healthy competition. I want 2 firing strikers. I want the pressure to be on Eddie Howe, on who to pick. I want that pressure to be on him. to make decisions. More games, obviously, more cup games, European games. So there's going to be plenty to go around. But yeah, I agree. The only time Isaac should be deployed on the left would be when we're chasing a game. Other than that, centre forward.
Do we need another striker, Adam? Is someone who's happy to be a kid or third choice, or because no doubt one of them will get an injury.
Yeah, I just don't think we can rely on Wilson to stay fit for 40 plus games this season. He doesn't have a track record of doing it. He's always picks up an injury where he misses a couple of months. So I think we can assume that's, hopefully I'm wrong, but yeah, who it'll be, I don't know. Because you're right, it needs to be the right character in the dressing room. Someone who's willing for the competition. You don't want someone who just expects to start. But yeah, I do think we could be missing a centre forward, especially going in the Champions League. I know Isaac's played Champions League, I think, with Sociedad. Maybe he's once.
Dortmund as well. Dortmund.
Right. But I don't think it'd be a bad move getting another centre forward in.
If we bring a striker in, I don't think it's going to be the calibre of those two. I think it's just a peg down. Because
we're going to get Chris Wood back.
No, not as bad as Chris Wood. I think it'll be. Well, you mentioned the debate we had with was Rodrigo from Leeds. Maybe that kind of stature where they scored a few goals, but they're happy just to be third choice. They won't be here long. Maybe a season, maybe a season and a half, and then they'll move them on. I don't see us buying an Isak again. Do you know what I mean? There's no point. Not when you've got two world-class strikers there.
Wilson's not world-class, though, is he?
Yeah, but he scored 18 goals. How many young people have beaten?
Would you sell him for, if Isaac stays fit, he gets that next season? Would you, just to play devil's advocate, if an offer came in for 25 million or whatever, would you consider it for Callum Wilson?
Nah, higher. If you see his fit, he's got 40 million high.
31 though, isn't he?
Doesn't matter. Still do your job for 4 years. So for me,
behave yourself.
If you're selling Callum Wilson,
with his injury record, 4 years.
If you're selling Callum Wilson, you need an improvement.
Yeah, of course.
So I would only consider that because if we all find out Callum Wilson's being sold, we'll be fucking furious. We will. Let's not lie. Why is he doing that? Why is he that? Until we find out. Oh, okay, right. So we're bringing in X, Y, and Z for 60 million. We're using some of that money. But I think it'll just be someone who's happy if we do bring someone in. I think it is needed. A third choice who he's just going to be rotated. And even if that's a kid, even if it's just a youngster who's at one of the bigger clubs or elite clubs, we're happy to be loaned out, not going to get any game time. Or someone who's been on the block. Better than Chris Wood, though. I generally think so. But yeah, enjoyed that, Adam.
Yeah, good to be back.
Good to be back. Adam, thank you very much. Sam, you enjoyed yourself?
I've just had a spiffing time. I really have.
Yeah. I've just seen one of the comments. I'm not reading that out. If you can drop us a like, that'll be absolutely wonderful. Original Adam P is here, so you can drop us a like. That'll be wonderful. We've got plenty of videos. We'll be doing daily videos, literally every day as well. So we're going to keep that going. Little 5-minute, 10-minute videos every day. And then we've got the Rangers game on the horizon in 5 weeks' time, and then the trip to the USA. And then obviously Sam and Johnny have the podcast. Members would have seen Sam's exclusive video earlier on today, and that he's been editing himself really well. So well done, Sam. You'll see plenty more. I'm waffling on.
Was that patronising? I can't make out. on the members video, you also get to see what players I would look to sign this summer.
It's a compliment, man. I'm waffling on.
Okay, right. Thank you. I will accept.
That will end the broadcast now. Drop us a like, everybody, if you like more of the live streams, and go over our community tab. Give us the feedback, what you want to see more of. Everyone, ta-da.